But overall, there will be a lot of saving, and there will probably be a lot of dying,
Yep.
and that's okay. As long if you complete one of the tasks on the bingo board before you die, and then you reload, you're for most tasks good to go. Um, so with no further ado, let's go ahead and get things started off. So I'm going to count down from 5, and then once you hit that, you can click the click to reveal button on the bingo sync board, and and at that point, you guys can start deciding which 3 rows, because we're doing triple bingo
Triple bingo.
today. Yep, which 3 rows you guys want to complete. So go ahead and count down now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go.
All right.
Wrong one.
Okay, I hope these tasks are legible on my stream. If not, I'll just go ahead and start reading off some things. We've got get agility to 100, see the fetch, get kicked out by Erasmus for knowing his jokes, score 200 points, never turn in mushrooms to the healer. The meaning of that event is that task is just not making use of the massive amount of gold you can get by turning in an unlimited number of mushrooms to the healer. The VGA version is a little glitchy on that regard and allows you to get however much money you want. Looks like David's already starting off. He's running out as a thief, it looks like, and he's grabbing some magic. Let's see, row 2 says score 100 points. The points total is in the upper right portion of the screen. The usual definition of 100% is to get all 500 points that your class can
Got it.
achieve. 100 points is not that big of a deal. Get 3 pieces of paper is listed as well. Get 3 pieces of paper refers to some notes you can find in the bar as the main quest of the game progresses. You will have to deal with the kobold in order to get 3 pieces of paper. When mages never use magic, that's a pair of events that can't exactly be completed simultaneously, so I guess row 2 is dead.
Yeah.
Cross a trapped room while the archers are active and don't get hit. That's a bit of an RNG grind, was my experience with that one. Next row is acquire dispel potion, die by falling. Die by failing to pick the chair safe 3 times, win the game. Win the game in the middle, that seems appropriate. Get both the Troll's Beard and some Cheetar Claws. Those are obtained by defeating some monsters, which not every class is not every character that's designed to do these weird, obscure tasks is going to be very good at combat. Looks like David's actually getting some extra points by paying Sam the Beggar and talking with him and that kind of thing. So he's probably going for some amount of points. Let's see. More tasks. We have defeat a forest monster without engaging it in combat. That's a little bit of a tricky task to complete, but it can be done. We've got pay Bruno 10 gold. That one's pretty easy. You just need to have 10 gold. As long as you do something to produce a lot of money, you can do that. Get lockpicking to 100. Turn in Mandrake Root. Get 400 stat points. There's a lot of ways to grind some stats quickly, and if you're a thief, you can grind quite a few of the stats pretty quickly.
Didn't have enough.
In particular, David TKI right now is doing the lockpick grind. So he first trained his lockpicking on the healer hut's door. The door is barred, and there's no penalty for being noisy as you're doing that. So he just trained that up until he was skilled enough to pick his own nose with the lockpick, which, as it turns out, has a pretty high skill check, and therefore you can train up your agility and your lockpicking pretty high that way. David subsequently picked up the gold ring. Okay, let's see. I think David might be interested in the have at least 24 different items in your inventory task, which is in the bottom row. Also in the bottom row is drink all 3 drinks at the tavern. That will kill you, by the way. The third of the drinks just burns you up when you try to consume them. That's called Dragon's Breath. can also be transformed into 3 different things. Get luck to 100. Of all the various train your skills tasks, that's probably the fastest one, or at least the easiest one. I don't know if it's the fastest. Kill 5 different types of monsters is also on the docket here. Looks like Mr. P.R. Miller has successfully passed time to nighttime faster than David TKI did by simply resting in the middle of his lockpick training. So that's kind of an interesting turn of events there. At nighttime, you can break into a couple of houses and collect a whole bunch of items there. You can also get a whole bunch of money as you're breaking in as well. Depends what you're trying to do. At nighttime, you can also do things like dance with the fairies, which is another task here. You can also get the Mandrake root. Turning that in is another task on the board. However, you need to first pick up the Undead Unguent in order to safely traverse the graveyard at night. And I forgot to turn on the timer. Well, that's okay. I know we're about 5-ish minutes in, so I'm just going to start the timer at about 5 minutes here.
I got 5:22. I started it when you started.
Okay, so I'll set it to 5:30. And then that'll be about right by the time I start here. Okay, that should be good. So we're about 5 minutes in, and at this point, quite a few stats have been had. And it looks like David is defeating the Kobold. He's using the insert storage glitch, which allows him to store the crosshairs of the Flame Dart spell using the insert key. The insert key toggles between whether you are utilizing one action icon or the walk icon. So if you use the insert key after you stored an icon, it'll bring it back up. They didn't think about the fact that the cost associated with casting the Flame Dart spell is associated with bringing up the crosshairs cursor. It is not associated with actually casting the spell and releasing the damaging attack.
By the way, we can safely say I'm not going to never use magic.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Clearly so. Let's see if we can figure out what people are doing at this point. Actually, let's get some input. What's the overall direction you're going for, David?
Column 1, column 3, row 1.
Wow.
Column 1, column 3, row 1. Okay. Makes sense. And Mr. P.R. Miller?
Well, let's take a look here. I'm looking for a diagonal.
Something like this.
Straight down. Diagonal 1, I guess would be the way to put it. Column 3. I'm trying to look at the other one here.
Oh. Okay, that one's gonna have
and
to...
row 4.
Okay. Row 4 does include get lockpicking to 100, which is a little bit of a pain because even though you can very quickly train up your lockpicking to a pretty high level, the instantaneous lockpicking options cap out a little bit before 100. So you wind up having to do something like the Antwerp door, where you have to walk into the screen, pick it once, and then leave. Or I think in town works too, but you have to worry about getting caught by the sheriff.
Yeah.
The kobold must count for one different type of monster.
So you can see, Mr. P.R. Miller, that we have changed the wording of the slow dance.
Good, I saw that.
Complete the slow dance.
I love it. It's just specific enough for me.
So we've got some dag-nabbit going on with David. And Mr. P.R. Miller has just dealt with the kobold and has looted the treasure chest behind it. I've not yet seen any mushrooms out of either of them, so they probably both will have that available to them. So a big part of these bingo boards, at least in my experience, is a matter of taking a look and planning around the things you can't do, right? Because there's a whole lot of stuff you can do in the game, but if you're planning on doing, for example, never use magic, that actually writes off a whole bunch of other tasks. So you need to decide if you're going with any of those don't do this task options, then you have to plan your entire route around it. In any case, looks like David is currently looting a bunch of houses.
Figure it. I want a lot of money for training fetch, but I've already decided not to use mushrooms.
Right.
And this is my third drink. I did 2 of them earlier.
All right. Sweet.
Let's do a safety
And
save.
by sweet, I mean fiery. So, Mr. PR Miller is about to do the thing that everyone in town goes way out of their way to tell you not to do. And that's drink the dragon's breath in the bar. And, oh wow. Pile of ashes. Alright, and it's saved and restored, and now he's good to go on that one.
Nope, not time yet.
David TKI has found his way back into Zara's shop. I'm going to see if I can increase specifically the sound of... Nope. I was hoping to make David's stream a little louder, but it doesn't look like it'll happen that easily. It's alright. David's buying a whole bunch of different... Oh, not different. He's actually just buying a bunch of mana potions. You can also get that from the healer, but it's a little bit longer of a task to get there.
Thought it was cheaper too.
Oh, you can climb out of the town gate. Interesting. I thought you had to go to the alley. So what, you hand the door itself instead of the wall, I guess?
Like,
Okay. David's getting into combat here and is training Flame Dart by casting it against the goblin there. Mr.
Goblin
PR
will
Miller
count for a
has
second
picked
monster.
up Trigger, I believe. Which is the only absolute 100% required spell for completing Mage's Maze. In practice, you're going to need Fetch to, and probably also Open. But if you don't have Trigger, you can't get to the bottom level of Mage's Maze. Slow dance going on with David TKI, walking around in the forest at night, so may as well get that taken care of.
Did I miss the midday? Wow. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, a consistent source of frustration in this game is the pulling rate of progression of time. There is no apparent rhyme or reason to how much time passes whenever you rest or do a task or run around or whatever. For example, in one of my earlier bingo runs, I was in the goblin training zone. I saved the game, ran upward and rested, and found, oh hey, that makes it nighttime. Okay, so I reloaded the game, ran upward, and then all the way into town, and then rested, and it wasn't nighttime.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't get it. Anyway, looks like got some green fur coming David's way. The meats are quite the troopers and are willing to
Actually.
just rip out their own hair and hand it to you if you just ask. My guess is that David's using the green fur more just so he has more crap in his inventory, rather than necessarily to make the dispel potion. Is yeah, I think David's going for the defeat a monster without engaging it in close combat task, and he is pretty close, but he needs to hope that Brigand keeps chasing him, because every time he goes to a new room, there's a possibility the enemy might give up the chase. Okay, he's got
That'll do it.
I'm horrible at combat, even outside of combat, so I knew I wasn't going to do that one.
Okay, so it looks like David is well on his way to getting column 5 done. Just has to make a trip.
How does that cross the trap room thing actually work?
So you need to be running, but the bigger task is honestly just getting into the trapped room while the outers are active in the first place. I personally wasn't able to figure out how to do it without defeating Toro first. So you'll probably have to kill Toro and then bash open the gate in order to cause the archers to be there. Once the archers are there, it's basically just a matter of luck. I found it was slightly easier if I like ran forward a bit, ran back for the first volley of arrows to go by, and then ran through, but my success rate was like 10%.
Nice. There we go.
Yeah, you can tell if you got hit by an arrow because the arrow will lodge into you. I also had a particularly easy way of checking, because whenever I was doing it, my health was really low, so one arrow killed me. So that made it pretty certain. David TKI is save scumming his way towards a faster fetch cast on the Spitting Seed Spirea here.
We're trying.
Or at least
I'm beginning to think.
You might be in a bad RNG seed. And no, I'm not talking about the Spire. Oh, he had the right one, and then he ditched it. Okay, there we go. And I think that's good. You need.
That looks good.
Yeah. No matter how high your fetch skill is, there's always a chance you can fail. Or at least that's my understanding here. But somewhere around like 25 to 35 fetch is usually where it becomes pretty consistent to get it.
Open, fetch. I'm trying to think. Trigger.
So he did catch the seed with fetch, which was a requirement. He's now trading in the seed for the acorn, the purpose of which is not immediately obvious to me. Oh, he's actually going to acquire the dispel potion, right. He's probably going to hoard the 24 different items first and then
Smart.
turn them all in. Something like that.
How many items do I actually have?
I don't know.
6. So, yeah, having 24 different items was actually not one of the goals that I put in.
Oh, okay.
It's not something I'm intending to go for.
Okay, he's heading into Enri's place. I actually somehow assumed that you had to be right in front of the door to knock on it, but I guess you can step aside first. It says clearly to pick up the trigger spell, which is mandatory for Erasmus, which is where Mr. P.R. Miller is right now. We've got our cameo Monty Python reference here, then also a little bit of Hitchhiker's Guide to the
100,
Galaxy with the question set.
200,
the actual
300. I am really close. If I might already be at 400 stat points. Still having trouble getting that third piece of paper, though.
Yeah, so you need to pick up a piece of paper before you deal with kobold,
Yep.
after you deal with kobold,
Yep.
and then after you have listened in to the brigand's conversation.
Okay, I should be okay then. And it just wasn't showing up unless it have to wait a little bit or something.
I honestly don't know for sure if there is a delay or anything. So we got some Mage's Maze action going on here. So because their expertise levels on most of their spells is a little low, that's going to make Mage's Maze a little bit of a pain for them because the candle in the lower right indicates how long you have to cast your current spell. And the amount of time you get on that candle increases as you get more expertise. So if you have like no expertise at all, then you get like a quarter second or something. But all right, he's got the Mage's Maze done.
So that's 4 different monsters that I've killed: Kobold, Brigand, Goblin, and Saurus.
All right. There are some scarier monsters that are available at night. You could also fight the ogre, which is always available. Do we count the bear as a monster? I think the answer is probably no.
It's combat.
Maybe we do, but I've rescued the bear, so I'm not doing that this playthrough.
I'm inclined to say no. I don't think you would call just a wolf a monster, right? It's just a wolf. It's an animal. It's not a grotesque monster thing.
Wait, I wonder how many questions you need to say yes to before you get kicked out.
Quite a few. Yeah, they make you sit around for like 3 minutes or so of answering questions.
Oh my gosh.
My experience.
Oh my gosh, what have I done?
You have done what you most hate. Listen to bad jokes.
But yeah, if you just sit around, Erasmus will...
Oh, that jerk took my ladder.
What a jerk. So both of them are at the top of Erasmus's tower right now.
Ah, got it.
Erasmus is a wizard. All right, there we go. Mr. P.R. Miller has gotten kicked out from Erasmus's place because he knew all the answers to all of Erasmus's jokes. So Erasmus will just ask you a bunch of riddles, and then you can say yes or no. And if you say no, you get the punchline. If you say yes, then he just gets a little mildly perturbed.
If I had to take a guess, I'd imagine killing the brigand probably disqualifies you from the third paper.
That could make some sense. It honestly wouldn't take that long to
I know, yeah.
save your current character and then start a thief and then just grab the paper,
That's
do
what I'm
the
gonna
kobold, grab the paper, listen in, grab the paper, right?
Yep. In fact, I'll show how fast that'll go right now.
Guess we're about to find out. The difficulty setting that I put in for the get 3 pieces of paper task was based off of me doing exactly what you're doing right now.
Nice.
So, be as true as it's going to get. But yeah, I guess it would make sense that if one of the two of them was dead, then they couldn't pass papers to each other, right?
It didn't even think to me. I do
didn't
it.
actually pick up that paper.
Yeah, that time I did. I went back.
So Mr. P.R. Miller has just started a new character in order to pick up the 3 pieces of paper task, and then they'll be getting back from there. So you will have to do the agility grind up to 100. Both of them will. What's the fastest way to do that? I never exactly figured out the last bit of agility there.
Probably lockpicking as high as you can get it, then climbing on the Brigand Fortress gate, and then...
Ah, right. I forgot you can climb it back out from there. But you can, so... Oh, there's Bruno, so... David just got that goal. He also asked about Baba Yaga's hut Rhine while he was at it, which will allow him to enter there without needing to ask Bonehead about it. So that's going to be necessary for pruning in the Mandrake root.
Pallet
I actually
explosion.
missed if he did that already. Did you pick up the Mandrake root?
I do have the Mandrake root.
Okay. Got a pallet explosion over on Mr. Pierre Miller's side.
Just needs to survive a
Picking
little
up his
longer.
last piece of paper. So the pallet explosion is a thing that happens once the game's memory leak state hits a certain level. If you keep going for too much longer, eventually it'll start saying invalid pallet. Alright, he's got 3 pieces
Hey,
of
I
paper.
have good taste in food.
Alright, so he's just going ahead and restarting program, and
Right where I was.
he'll restart from where he was. He's on save prime at this point.
Let's see, 100, 200, 300. Oh yeah, I've definitely hit 400.
Yes. So he's got a bunch of stat points. My guess is David TKI probably has 400 stat points too. The hardest part of that task is honestly just
Doing the math.
yeah. Or doing enough of the math to be sure you're over 100. Got a visit with Meeps on Mr. Pierre Miller's side.
What have I got? Okay. I have a plan here that, well, I don't know for sure if I can take on Toro, but I'm trying to make sure that
trying to burn Toro down. That's bold.
Yeah.
Requires quite a bit of MP to do that. Each magic potion restores half of your current maximum MP is the way that works. So it always takes 2 to bring you from empty to full. So he's doing the safety save before seeing if he can take on Toro. So Toro's a Minotaur, he's guarding the front gate. You can sneak around him in a variety of ways. Some of them intended, some of them not. He has quite a bit of HP, but he's not that hard to hit compared to some other enemies. But if you haven't trained up your weapon use skill, then it may still be tricky. It looks like he's training his weapon use skill during combat. He almost got it. He's like a quarter of Toro's HP left.
I'll try one more time with the weapon use method.
Okay.
Part of what I'm going for here is that I'm not sure that I can actually get past Toro, and get to the rocks to climb him. Ow.
Toro hits pretty hard when he hits you, and the way the timing works out, if you hit him, he gets enough time to potentially counterattack you.
Then that's not the way to go.
Okay. And
Oops.
looks like Mr. Pierre Miller has done the slow dance with the fairies. That's as opposed to the fast dance. The fast dance happens if you get to the fairies whenever your agility is low. However, if you are playing as a thief, your agility starts high enough that you can never do the fast dance.
25.
Yep. Acorn picked up for Mr. P.R. Miller. Probably going to make Oh, what was the reload for there?
I'm going to transform myself.
Aha!
At least one. I'm going to do it on three different fronts.
Okay.
So I'll reload once I'm done.
Get turned into over the course of the game. One we've already seen from David TKI. You can get transformed into a frog as you're talking with Baba Yaga, and that's just part of the normal course of events while you are turning
not
in
working.
magic root to her, so she doesn't just kill you with her curse. And then also later on, you turn her into a frog by reflecting her own frog spell onto her. If you want to do that. Got a pallet explosion on David's screen. Looks like he's restarting the game in order to avoid any problems on that front. Eventually, the game can potentially crash if you leave that alone for too long, so that's why they're being a little careful about that. It's like Mr. P.R. Miller has stubbed his toe on a log.
I hate that log. It's such a troll because nothing else in the game does that, as far as I've seen.
Yeah, everything else you just automatically tap around, but that one, it's like, oh, you want me to just stand in front of this log? Okay.
I've decided I want this spell.
All right. David
Additionally-
has taken the calm spell, which can make
As long
enemies.
as I'm here.
Defeating his last of the.
Okay, let's see. What can I do here to...
He needs to watch out for his SP, I think.
Submit. Ow. Where's my run? But oh, why isn't he running?
So your ability to click the run button gets locked up if you are in the middle of an action at the wrong time and you get interrupted because you take damage. It's worst with the spells because they have the longest animations, the longest period of time where you can get locked up like that. To unlock yourself, you have to complete an action. Then you can run.
Good to know.
Cosmic Glory 1 VGA is kind of glitchy. Games back in the day were kind of expected to be glitchy and it was tolerated. Oh hey, Mr. P.R. Miller has killed the Antwerp. Antwerp counts as a monster, right? Oh wait, but did he kill it?
No, I don't think I killed it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the task says kill, so I guess that doesn't count. David is once again trying his luck with the ogre.
Oh, I don't think it does. I don't think the...
He's also trying to train up his combat skills a little bit while he's doing this. Is the idea?
A little bit. Well, agility specifically.
Okay.
Alright, I'm liking
Nice
that
of the
one.
ogre to stick out his foot for you to stab it. Okay, lockpick grind going on for Mr. P.R. Miller on the left screen here.
Which does work.
Yep. So you get a little bit of experience for your lockpicking every time you actually unlock the door, and the door relocks itself every time you leave the room. I don't know who's locking it. Maybe it's Fred, and you're just making Fred really, really angry here.
That's also why I killed the Antwerp, is that it would make this grind a little faster.
Right. Yeah, if the Antwerp is there, he'll start the room. Every time you enter the room, he'll start on the left side, which means you have to wait for him to leave each time, which is kind of a pain. Mr. Pierre Miller's now at 97 lockpicking. So every time, so the way skill gains work in this game, as I understand it, is you gain experience in a given skill, either a flat amount or an amount based off of how hard the task you were doing was. But every time your experience in a particular skill hits your current level of skill in it, you get a skill level up. And that level up will randomly be between 1 and 3 extra skill points in that skill. So it's possible Mr. PR Miller only needs 1 more skill up. It's possible he may need 3.
Got it.
What I've sometimes done in my grinds, whenever it's a task that takes a long time to grind, is I will save just before a level up is about to happen. And then if I get only +1, I'll reload, because the difference between +1 and +3 is pretty big once you're up to the last few. So at this point, Mr. Pierre Miller has gotten 100 lockpicking skill. So at this point, he's 1 Mandrake Root turn-in away from having the first bingo of the set here. Although
David is all over, though.
away from having 2 bingos.
My knowledge for routes is very specific. That's one of the coolest things about David, is that he really does know the game almost inside and out because of the 100% runs. He's a very hard beast to tame, so that put it. Oh, I died.
You know, my calm spell failed against Toro. Probably some script interruption. So, let's see if I can win this fight. Ow.
Ow.
How time you saved?
Me?
Yeah.
I think right before I entered here.
Yeah.
I can't believe I died there. Done this so many
I could
times.
probably beat Toro if I did weight overflow. Or I could
That's
just do
it.
that.
Toro down. Not much HP left.
Can you assassinate Toro? Calm him and then...
And the Brigand Archers are active, and I think your HP is low enough that you'll immediately find out whether you got shot by an arrow or not.
Okay. Alright, then let's try getting through the room. I probably can't. Can I rest here? Oh, I can rest here. Okay.
Of course you can. I don't see anything dangerous here.
Danger's more of a suggestion than anything.
Mr. Pierre Miller is closing out the game itself here.
Found out immediately.
You might want to change the game speed. I think that might affect... Oh. No, I don't think this counts, David, because the archers are not... Hang on, what's the wording?
Alright, I won the game, and now I'm going to
Cross the
reload.
trap room while the archers are active. The archers were not active while you crossed the room. You finished the room when the archers were active, but the actual crossing was not.
Okay, does that count?
I believe that counts. My
Alright.
suggestion in the future, pause a little bit before the door and just see if there are any arrows embedded in you.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think you were in the clear on that one.
Alright.
Wow, I opened up the troll door at like 22 strength. That is really low.
More nose picking here. Just trying to pass time, I think. Picking his nose.
Yeah, I also still need agility. But I don't think agility trains at a certain point.
Not from the lockpick.
Well, it depends on what you lockpick on.
Okay.
Okay,
Not
then.
from picking your nose, though. That counts.
Not from picking your nose, no.
You could, for example, climb the fortress, which is what David's doing here. You could just do some fighting. That'll get you some agility. I think there's other options too. But yeah, the last few points of agility are pretty rough. Kind of surprised both of you guys decided to go for it.
Hell, that row 2 certainly didn't help anything.
Afraid of not using magic.
And having to use magic. The prospects kind of canceled each other out. Night is still young. It needs to be the middle of the night for the Mandrake, if I remember right.
Yes. I keep plucking my way over this wall, which is unfortunate, because I don't want to luck my way over it.
Middle of the night. Got it.
Kind of weird that you can walk out the front door whenever it's closed.
Oh well, I'll just go ahead and go through here then. I'm getting tired.
Ow, I forgot that part.
Do you have the unguent?
Yeah, I have the unguent. I just don't have the red gem.
Oh, right. You need some apples.
Which I'm going to have to wait
Can
till
you
tomorrow.
visit Rocky at night? I don't think I've ever tried.
That would probably work, but you can't buy the apples at night, so...
Right. Oh, if you don't have them.
Yeah, I just don't have them. I'm trying to think of what else I need to get here. Transform into 3 different things. Mage's Maze, 3 pieces.
Yeah, the way I see it,
Oh,
you need to do the get transformed thing, which is going to require being a fighter.
Yes.
Finish off the agility.
Oh, Mandrake and Transformed. Okay, so... Wow, okay. Yeah,
How
I'm
many types of monsters have you killed?
pretty much none.
Okay.
It's just
Is that
coincidence.
one you were going for?
Nope. Nope.
Okay. Yeah, so it's going to be agility, transformation, and Mandrake root. And once you've got all those, that'll be completion for Mr. Pierre Miller. For David TKI, he needs also agility at 100. And drink all 3. Oh, wait, no, sorry, he's already did that. Okay. What else is he going for here? Probably drink the drinks and then agility 100 is what he's going to finish out with.
Very likely.
So it looks like David's doing the lockpick in town option for finishing out agility. You can only do a couple of lockpicks per room safely. After that, it's a matter of luck whether he gets caught for making too much noise or not. So since there is the grace period of 2 lockpicks, and since the game doesn't track how many you've done in the current evening, only in the current room, you can just run between these 2 rooms, do a couple lockpicks, and then run over to the other side again. It's not a fast way to grind up agility, but there isn't really a fast way to grind up agility past 90-ish. Mr. P.R. Miller's on his way to turn in the Mandrake root
You got it.
in order to create Mandrake Moose.
That's also one thing I've been turned into.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so he's now been a frog. So,
Oh.
just as a heads up for anyone watching, Mr. P.R. Miller's stream is a little bit delayed. I'm watching his stream via Twitch, whereas I'm watching David TKI stream via Discord. So, a little bit of a difference on that one. Looks like David TKI is finishing out the drinks at this point.
Yep.
Something I think would be interesting to have as part of the drinks challenge would be to require you to do it all in the same lifetime, right? Because you
Yeah.
lose all of your money after the troll sweat. So if you had to do troll sweat and then dragon's breath rather than reloading, that would be kind of neat.
I got a bingo.
Hey.
2.
Okay, so both of them are pretty close to done here. David just needs to finish out the agility, but he's got 2 more bingos right there, and that'll be completion for him.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, you're ahead of me.
And looks like Mr. P.R. Miller is taking a break from the slamming your head against the wall thing for the agility grind in order to pick up the transformed into 3 different things task. So he needs to get transformed into the stag as well as the spitting seed spirea. So in order to get turned into the stag, you have to injure the stag and then meet the dryad, and the dryad will punish you by turning you into a stag. And then
Do you
in the
think
spitting
these
seed
stats add up to
spirea-
400?
Hmm?
I think those add up to 400.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
it.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to finish this off a different way then. Hold on a sec. So I've already been turned into a frog. Does that all
Yeah.
have to be on the same? No, it can't all be on the same life.
Nah, can't be.
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna save there. Go ahead and restart. Start a fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you get transformed into 3 things and then win the game, then you got it.
Yeah.
So he's swapping over and abandoning the agility bit.
GG, man. GG, buddy.
Mr. P.R. Miller has managed to get his score to be 0 here. You start at 1 score just for entering the first screen of the game, so it's somewhat impressive to have to make a score of 0.
Bingo.
Okay, so that's
I accidentally
bingos.
saved
Just need
over.
1 more. So he needs to get agility or figure out some other solution. He does have at least 200 points, so he's got that. He's used magic, so that square and everything associated with it is dead. He has not turned in mushrooms.
I'm trying to think if there's
So
anything
he's-
quick I can do, and I'm not seeing it. Agility seems like what I'm going to have to...
You could do the forest monster thing, theoretically, if you have the confidence to do it. Just have to attack, and then the last moment run to another screen. You can do it with daggers if you've got a whole lot of them. You can do it with flame darts, probably the easiest.
Yeah, but I'd still have to
probably
get
needs
agility to 100 in order to do that. So I might as well just do that, because that'll give me the 3rd bingo.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's either you both did the trapped room without getting hit thing, or you defeated the forest monsters. And if you did both of those, that would do it. Otherwise, you can do the agility bit. Which takes some time.
Sounds like it. So in other words, David's got this.
At this point, he just has to win the game. So he's doing an any percent run now. He's literally just starting the game fresh and just doing an any percent run, it looks like.
I accidentally saved over one game where I could have just run to the castle and done it.
Oh. Whoops.
Whoops.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah, so instead, 1 minute, any percent run, let's go.
It can be done that fast. The only thing I can think to do at the last moment here is to try to gain some sort of weird stat that we're not used to training up, and pray like heck that it works.
Solid explosion, but I'm leaving it this time. I didn't remember to buy the open spell. Oh well.
You can go back and get it.
I'll go back and get it.
5-minute run. 5-minute run.
I don't think that gives agility.
I have no idea if it does or not. It doesn't. Shoot. But it gives throwing pretty quick. I'm impressed.
What does...
Throwing.
Throwing rocks at the archery range.
That should give agility. I remember
It
throwing
does.
raising agility.
Now I'm just seeing if there's other things in the area that do give agility. Yikes.
How far off is your agility right now?
About 31.
Oh, ouch.
So in
Yeah,
terms
if I
of
were you, I'd probably go
competitiveness,
for column 5. That does require having a little bit of confidence in your ability to just menu the spells.
Sorry, who were you talking to there?
I was talking to Mr. P.R. Miller.
Oh, sorry. What was it? Or what was the question?
I was saying if I were in your position, I'd probably go for column 5 here. Rather than the 800 agility, because you are kind of far off for the agility.
So it says cross the trapped room. Does that mean that you have to defeat the brigands at the other side without getting hit?
No, you just need to get across without any of the arrows lodging into your face.
Interesting. Okay, I do have an option then.
You do need to defeat Toro to make that happen, because otherwise the brigands won't be there. So one way or the other.
what if you trip over that first trip rope and then the brigands activate?
Does that
It
work
activates them.
without you dying? Yeah, I guess that works.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, yeah. So get into the brigands area, run across, that gives you that one. Then just need to defeat a goblin with flame dart. Hopefully you have enough flame darts around. Nope. Try again.
Ah,
I
garbage.
find it helps if you train flame dart first. This goblin would not count because you did get into combat with them.
Yeah.
So you get experience for flame dart every time you bring up the cursor, so you can potentially get a fair amount of flame dart experience in a quick period of time just by bringing up the cursor repeatedly without actually casting it. Not with insert. Yeah, you do have to bring up the actual spell page. That's where you spend.
That would be the best grind in the history of gaming if that was the case.
That's triple bingo.
Good for you, man.
All right. David has won the game, and in so doing, won the bingo game.
Nice,
About
nice,
52
nice.
minutes, which is pretty close to the amount of time that the triple bingo has been taking for the fastest player each time. So at least we have a little bit of consistency on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering if walking around with stealth on would help with agility.
Not to the tune
no.
of 30 agility points.
Or at least not right away, that's for sure.
So, stealth, when you're sneaking around, just passively raises stealth. In order for stealth to raise your agility, you're going to have to be doing specific skill checks, which can happen if you managed to dodge an encounter in the forest from your stealth.
So it needs to give you that notification.
Not necessarily. It needs to either give you the notification or give you a monster.
It occurs to me that I should have set your colors or the colors of your names on the screen, on the stream, to match the color of your icons on the bingo board. So I'll go ahead and do that.
Well, let's see here. How do I want to handle
So
this?
some people have been watching on my channel. So hello to Dark Armist. Hello, Nate Wilkie. We also got Summer for a little bit too. And we are doing triple bingo. That was an older question. I think that's clear by now, though.
I know my, hey, Darby. Most suited for bingo. Oh, that's a good question. What games in this kind of series and genre are most suited for bingo? Now, obviously, I think we could do anything Quest for Glory related would be definitely appropriate for triple bingo.
Hero U would be good for bingo.
Ooh, that's interesting. A progressive triple bingo through the days on that. I like the idea of a collection triple, or a collection bingo.
Me
No.
too.
Luck here.
Yeah, the only thing I could think to do that with my limited ability in this game is to try to get the 24 different items, kill 5 different types of monsters, which I should be able to do pretty quick. I guess I
How
could.
many have you killed thus far? Have you killed anything?
A Saurus.
Okay, you killed a Saurus.
And a
Okay,
Goblin.
You beat the easiest one.
Yes.
You're on track. It only took you 56 minutes.
Yeah, and I think a Goblin. Man, that luck to 100 grind is rough.
It's rough on the hands. Doesn't take excessively long, at least not compared to the other grind tasks.
No, that's true. Did not mean to do that, but okay, luck's at 93. That's pretty. So, David, I have my thoughts on here. Which sounds like the worst possible task on this current board?
The agility grind.
Yeah, after doing it, I was in the same boat with you on that.
Yeah, I was surprised both of you initially planned on depending on it. That's what I would have avoided. The other scariest one is never use magic, but
Depending on what else there was, that really didn't worry me too much. But there's so many other things, like when mage is mage, you need. That's pretty much it.
Road 2 in particular was off the board before the game even began.
yeah. But yeah, I think this might have been the board to take never use magic on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the rest of the stuff here, like column 4, you can just play normally-ish as a thief. Just do casual thief stuff. And
My game
you kinda
crashed.
Get there once you get strong enough. Right?
Oh my god, did you get the narrator timeout bug?
Looks like that's what happened, yeah.
Oh dear. Wheels coming off the train for Mr. P.R. Miller in the last couple seconds here.
Alright, so quick explanation.
Yeah,
Within SCI, there's a narrator lockup bug. There's an internal timer that's kind of counting up as the game goes on. And if you just so happen to get a text message at the same time that you're on the exact right tick for this timer, which happens once every 18 minutes and 12 seconds.
It's really rare. Make sure I have a goblin here. Man, no agility from that. Holy smokes.
I kind
Yeah,
of want to
I
dig into the
found-
code a little bit, but I think each weapon use will give 2 agility experience.
Ah. So it is possible
Each-
to grind that up.
Yes, and each dodge or parry will give probably 3.
That has not been my experience, though. I have done, a full SP bar of agility grind via dodging whenever I was at, like, 15 agility and not gotten any agility. So
There's another caveat to that, which is that every time you dodge, it's a random difficulty, and if the difficulty it decides for you is more than 50 away from your current dodge skill level, then you don't get any experience, except in luck.
close fight here between Lily
Oh, I
Kruger
don't-
and David and Mr. PR Miller here.
He died. I got him. I killed him with rocks.
It's a big rock.
That's
Oh.
it.
Oh my
And
gosh.
if you defeat the ogre outside of combat, he walked to the correct position before falling down.
That is the best. I can't believe that worked. I was so scared of my stamina because I'm pretty sure I'm out. No, but I have 1 health. That's pretty good. And it looks like I'm having a pallet explosion here. Well, I might or may not.
So, in chat, Nate Wilkie is asking, how do we make the bingo cards? There's a website called Bingo Sync that is used for most of the, larger name speedrun game bingos. However, it does not at present have a Quest for Glory 1 mode. It does have a fixed bingo mode, however. So what I've done here was I created my own program that tried to take in a database that we as a community collectively put together.
I do have that.
Of a whole bunch of tasks and about how hard we think the tasks are relative to each other, and then what categories the tasks are in. And then the bingo board generator just rolls random boards and tries to find one that has a relatively reasonable amount of spread in the difficulty between the rows and columns, as well as a relatively reasonable avoidance of multiple instances of the same kind of task in the same row. So, for example, in here, there was get luck to 100 and get lockpicking to 100 in the same column. That produced a penalty in the overall rating for this board. Now, just based off of the somewhat small number of categories that we have, there's going to be some amount of overlap like that. There's just no way that the system's going to find something that doesn't have any category violations, but it at least tries to keep it low. Speaking of getting luck to 100, is that what we're doing here?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I have to do. And then what I could do very quickly is catch the seed with fetch, and also fail to pick the sheriff's lock save 3 times. That shouldn't take too long once I have luck at 100.
Okay. So you will have to keep in mind that you need to make sure that you don't successfully pick the sheriff's lock, right?
Yes, I will have to save before I do my attempts. Yeah, I realized the 5 different monster types: the kobold, the ogre, the goblin, the saurus, and technically, do we count the brigand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we count the brigand, then I throw a rock at him, and that did defeat that encounter.
Okay. You're good.
He's dead.
Oh, wait, you mean Brutus.
I don't know about the... We'll have to discuss the guy at the archery range.
The only reason it says is because it kills, because you could engage him in combat. We have a little bit of a technicality, and that's part of why we're doing this also, is to work out some of the details on this. Listen, I'm a theologian. It's our prerogative to make distinctions.
That's fair.
I think it checks out.
Hey.
I think it checks out because it is an entity that's on the screen that if you walk into it, you get into combat. That's what a monster is in this game, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it checks out. It certainly wasn't what was intended when the thing was written, but
We can clarify that also in combat if we want to, or however, yeah. I don't know if we can.
Okay with ranged combat being permitted for that task.
Let me see. The question is, what would be faster? I'm thinking it would be faster to start a new game and collect 24 different items.
Has this file already turned in the dispel potion?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
everything. Yeah, that's it. That file's done.
I think
Yeah, you're gonna need the new file then.
Column 5. I think column 5 would be the fastest.
Yeah, that's column 5.
Yeah. If I mean, based off of your current stats, it's literally just a matter of keeping up with mouse precision in order to hit the monster enough times.
Which I'm not practiced at. That's the hiccup that I'm running into. Plus, crossing the trapped room while the archers are active. You need to beat Toro for that.
No, you can actually stumble over the first tripwire, and that actually works.
Oh, really? You don't
Someone
die
in
from
chat-
that?
In my chat, actually just confirmed that a little bit ago.
You don't die from trapping over the first tripwire in this game?
The first
No.
one. The second one kills you, but the first one activates the archers.
Wow. Okay, then, yeah, that seems like it would be a...
So as far as the duration of the bingo event, it is looking to me as though it's actually pretty consistent. It's around 50-ish minutes for the first person to complete, and then for anyone where things went kind of wrong, it's about an hour and 10 minutes. And that seems to be consistent from board to board, at least with our current pool of tasks.
Yeah. So we're probably looking like at an estimate of an hour, 10 minutes, or an hour.
I would say an hour and 15. You have to account for the fact that whenever you have multiple people involved, you have to count on the person who is the slowest, right?
Forgot. I need, like, all
So-
3 spells to pull this off quickly.
Yeah, maybe an hour and 10 is fine. I mean, if we keep doing this, it'll probably go down from there. Just so long as we get example run that was something like that.
Forgot. Need the open spell.
And what's your schedule like for the rest of the afternoon, Miller? Do you have time for another?
No, I don't have time for another right now. I may have time for another tonight, though.
Okay.
Need to check with Mrs. P.R. Miller on that one.
Okay, I'll go ahead and highlight this bingo session here. And then we'll have that at least as a video we can turn to for video submission. Ideally, we'll get another one, and then we'll get to pick whichever turns out to be the best showing. Centaur thinks he's a hollow log there, apparently.
Yeah.
Does ogre count as a forest monster? No.
No, he's not in the forest. Neither does a kobold. I would say that both of those are monsters, but I
But
would not say they're forest monsters.
Yeah, I would agree with you. This is a cave monster. I mean,
And then Fred is not only not in the forest, you can't defeat him from afar.
so frustrating that agility it had to be in the corner at one of those corner ones. Man.
Let me check what we have the difficulty for agility set to?
If it's anything other than ridiculous, it needs to be recategorized.
Agility, for whatever reason, is under the 16-minute category. It is listed as being easier by 2 minutes than strength. Does that sound right?
No.
Strength is easier.
Okay. So what should I set agility to? Like 20, maybe?
Yeah.
All right, easy enough. Just move that around, and
Make sure I hear this.
that'll be done for the next time. Make one board.
Yeah.
And we can stop now if you want to. I mean, this is kind of the point was to have something.
Well, I think we should have a video that is
Complete.
Complete. Yeah. That's preference.
Sounds good.
So as long as you're willing to finish this out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I need is the flame dart spell.
Having a little bit of a slowdown on my internet connection here, dropping a few frames. Sorry for everyone that's watching.
Save before.
I'm going to go ahead and cut David's screen here just to save on a little bit of my bandwidth. Hopefully that'll help.
Oh, did I? Oh no, that shouldn't affect anything.
Oh, shoot. It's like the worst possible place for me to get into this.
Oh.
You can also check if something's...
Pointing out that they didn't mount any brigand heads in the Adventurers Guild Hall. So, that was in response to whether brigands are monsters. But if you ask about monsters when you're talking to the Guildmaster, I think he does list brigands.
Oh, jeez, what the heck?
Yeah, monsters never show up when you want them.
And it doesn't seem to want to save my cursor there.
Yeah, one cast and then do the insert storage and then it should save it for the second time.
Okay. A decent start to me.
I am really not practiced at this.
Still following you. Yeah, this was just how I fought every
Got
game
him.
as a kid.
Nice. And so now you just need
All right,
to
you
drop.
did it. Okay, so now it's just the trapped room archer business, and then you're good to go.
I thought whenever you put the archers there, you meant like the archer's pass. I was like, holy smokes.
Oh. Oh, no. That's not a trap room. It's neither a room nor trapped.
An ambush.
Well, according to the SCI code, it is. We look at everything in terms of rooms. But you are correct.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't have considered it that either. But it was the only thing I could think of. Okay, so if I come over here and trip. What do? Do I have like a second to get across here?
save before you run across. I found it was most likely to succeed if I ran up enough to trigger our arrows, ran down, and then ran across.
Sorry, say that one
But
more
just
time. Run up to
at the
trigger the
end
arrow.
to check whether any arrows embedded in you. It is not consistent based off of any strategy that I was able to come up with, but it can be done. David seemed to get kind of lucky when he was going across.
Can you see the arrows?
Yeah, the arrows will embed into you.
So I'm safe. I can save now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I'm-
well, I actually don't have your stream up right now.
Oh, I have no arrows embedded in me.
Loading. Okay.
I don't even know if I can get across.
It's not much to look at.
Did I make it? That's the same amount of health I had whenever I left.
Okay, let's count that. Time.
All right, time.
When I load, I have the same amount of health.
1 minute 15. 1 hour 15 minutes or so.
All right, all thanks to agility. Hey, we did it.
Hooray for agility.
Good stuff.
All right. That was an entertaining sort of event. You guys wound up clearing like most of the tasks on the board.
It was an awkward series of tasks. I will agree. Like, there was nothing that was too crazy, though. Yeah, the never use magic was definitely on the board for this one.
Yeah, I think